What's up guys, EraseableCrab here. Welcome back to another Battles 2 video. Today we're continuing the beginner mini-series. We're going to claim this reward here, which gives us 20 monkey money. Complete day 1, gives us 100. Then we get the day 2 quest, unlock a new hero. 20 more monkey money. So that looks like the best way to get monkey money when you're this early in the game. More monkey money you have, more towers you can unlock. Today's video, we're going to be getting to Yellow Stadium. So we have 11 trophies we need until we get that promotion. So let's hop right into this first game and start our way towards it. We're on a 5-game win streak. Bloomstone Quarry is a good map, but I'm going to skip it to try to get something a little bit better. Star, great map. We're rocking with the strategy of bomb, sub, tack. And actually, I'm going to switch this out so it's tack, sub, bomb. Just because that's the order of the towers that I prefer to use. So that's why we're doing it that way versus what the game suggests. It's not a big deal. But when you're someone like me and you've used so many different strategies, you end up seeing what you prefer. So we're going to wait for our first income boost. And we are going to place Gwendolyn right here. Get to ecoing with grouped reds. Then after our next income boost, we'll be able to afford a tack shooter. On this map, the best spot is right there. In this back triangle. Our opponent is not going to be liking this grouped eco. They have the heli pilot, which isn't a great tower to defend grouped eco. They aren't sending us anything, however, so that gives us an advantage. We're going to slowly work our way to a 203 tack sprayer. I'm not sure if anyone's mentioned this or not in the comments, but you can always go for a 2-3-0 blade shooter, and that's also a good early game option. But I'm somebody that prefers the tack sprayer. That way when you get the overdrive, it's a little bit cheaper in the long run than selling that blade shooter and then going for something like an overdrive, just because at that point you're losing money. Pro tip, put your Molotov cocktail ability, the cocktail of fire, in a spot where the balloons intersect the map twice. It'll help you out a ton, trust me, I know. I didn't used to do that, and then when I started I was like, I see why this helps a lot. Now our opponent has some flying towers, and we're going to eco with grouped greens just because we can get away with it. They're not sending us any eco, so we don't need to upgrade our defenses further than what we have right now. But since our opponent has flying towers, I don't think they're going to know to upgrade to defend lead balloons. So we might be able to win a game with leads on round 10, which is a decent rush if your opponent doesn't know how to defend it. But a lot of people know how to defend it, or they'll use the bomb tower since that's one of the default towers, and that can pop leads for them. Now again, we're in red bloom camp, so you can't send camo, regen, or fortified in this arena whatsoever. We're gonna send grouped yellows now because again, we can get away with it. We want to build our eco up as much we can, so I'm going to use another full income boost on sending grouped yellows. Then I'm going to switch back to grouped blues and slow down our eco a little bit, so that way we can afford an overdrive for if our opponent sends us round 11 purples. That'll help us defend. With that being said though, on round 10, we might be able to get the win with leads. They do have the exploding pineapples upgrade, but that's terrible at popping leads. So we'll see how it goes with that. But the higher you can get your eco, the better. The reason being is, if you build your eco faster, we've got $730 coming in every 6 seconds. When this ring closes, that's 6 seconds that have passed in the game. And that's when you get your eco. Now, we're gonna consistently send them leads. They do have the razor rotors. We're gonna get this sub right here. This will be for decamoing, and we're just gonna leave it on that since our opponent can't send us any camo balloons. Now, with that said, I'm not sure how their defense is going to be, so I'm actually going to send them as many purples as I can right now, and just see how they defend and if it's worth it to send more. And right now, I can't say that it is worth it. What I can say is worth it is ecoing with group greens. At this current moment, they're not sending us much. Well, actually, they're not sending us anything at all. The AI isn't too tough. They disconnected. So we got the win. So that's one win under our belt, and we really didn't have to do anything except play the game like we would any other time. Now we need 7 trophies till we can get to Yellow Stadium. Let's claim our golden bananas. 420, nice. And let's just hop into this next game and see how this one goes. Now, obviously every game's going to differ because some people may have lower end devices that don't run this game well. Castle Ruins, okay map, but I'm going to skip it for something better. Bloomstone Quarry is better than Castle Ruins. Not the greatest map, however. There are better ones. Mayan, Bloontonium Mines, and Star are my 3 go-to maps. If I have the option to, I will go for those maps every single time. We're going to put Gwendolyn right there, eco with grouped reds immediately. Our opponent is going to send us grouped reds. So on this map, while Tack Shooter isn't the best, I think the best spot for us is going to be about right here. They have their bomb tower in the back of the map. Quincy at the front, they just sold their bomb tower. That's a much better spot they have it in now. Again, we've got the same strategy going on, trying to slowly upgrade to that 203 tack sprayer during the earlier game rounds. But this time around, since our opponent has the bomb tower doesn't do good to spaced eco. So we're gonna slightly rush them, but we're also still building eco with these space greens that we're sending them right now. What that's gonna do, that's gonna force them to upgrade, otherwise they're going to leak. Now they're doing the same on our side now. We're gonna send grouped yellows, because grouped yellows, or space yellows, are a little bit faster. And we're gonna see how they do. Sometimes it's not worth it to send anything higher than that. They got a cluster bomb. We're gonna go back to ecoing with grouped blues then, because it's not worth it for us to send space eco when they're defending it. The only time you should really be building your eco with space balloons is if you're farming, because you want your eco to be a little bit slower when you're farming, and that'll help you out. Now, we're going to set Gwendolyn's cocktail right there. We're going to use it just to help clean up these balloons a little bit, make sure we're defending a little bit better. Space whites are generally a good rush, but since they have that cluster bomb, they're going to be fine for now. What I am going to do, however, since they are consistent with the spaced eco, we're going to get another tack sprayer. We leaked a couple lives, not a big deal. Don't worry about the life advantage, really, ever, unless you're doing like a specific challenge like I do sometimes, where the life advantage matters. Now, since they have Quincy set to first, he is pointing at these balloons here. So these blacks may get by him, and the bomb tower cannot pop the black balloons. Now, using Quincy's level 3, they're going to do a little bit better. But I think if we're consistent enough with these, and we're also going to balloon boost, we can force them to upgrade to that recursive cluster. And maybe we'll get a couple lives by them. But that recursive cluster is like a $3,400 upgrade. So it's really worth it for us to force them to buy that. Now, our opponent could be aggressive with purples on round 11. We're going to prepare for that. And we're going to prepare a submergence support for if we get to round 12. Right now, we're just going to have it a 2-0-0. And we're going to send spaced zebras right now on round 9. They're not going to be liking that. I wish they could be regen, because space regen zebras would probably get past this opponent. But we can't send regens in this arena. With that said, however, these are not working out. Don't continue with them. If you're sending a rush and it doesn't work out, don't continue with it. I'm going to send a massive purple rush. I'm going to balloon boost it. Use Gwendolyn's cocktail, make my side go a little bit better. Now, they did defend that, but they also had to use a tower boost. Now, we'll take that any day of the week. That's a really good thing for us. The way I think we're going to win this game is by sending a Moab on round 17. So what I'm going to do, it's round 13, I'm going to switch over to group greens now that grouped blues aren't available. And we're going to get this middle path because I believe that can help us pop off the lead balloons if we get the plutonium reactor. Our opponent balloon boosted at us, not a big deal, I'm not going to fall for it. What I am going to do, however, is start saving up. I'm going to use the cocktail just because there's a lot of lead balloons, and I don't want to end up leaking to those. But I'm going to get the plutonium reactor because that's going to genuinely help us against everything. Because the plutonium reactor can actually attack the balloons, whereas the submergence support cannot. So the reactor is actually a very decent upgrade, even on its own, but I wouldn't rely on it. There's some rainbows, can't tell if our opponent sent those or if they were in the AI. Not a big deal, we defended them. Now, I've got 1,000 eco. I'm going to stop right there for just the moment. The reason being, I want to save up some money. And what I'm going to do at the start of next round, I'm going to send our opponent 2 Moabs. They're spaced, but that's actually good for us. And then we're going to send a ton of purples underneath all that. And what that's going to do, that's going to distract his towers from popping that main Moab layer. So that way, the Moab can get further and further on the map, and it'll make it harder to defend. Now, with that said, they did end up popping the Moab, but they just used their last tower boost, I believe. So what we can do is, I believe on round 20, BFBs come available to send. We are going to stop ecoing for a second. Let's tower boost that. That's scary. I think we just died. First loss of the series. That's fine. That was totally my fault. I should have been faster on getting that tack shooter out. But sometimes that's just how it is. Sometimes you need to be aggressive. And other times it doesn't make sense to be aggressive. Now, we still need 7 to get to the promotion. We're going to get to the promotion in this video. Not sure how long or short I can make it, but I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. Garden, not a great map, going to skip it. Oasis is a decent map. I prefer others, though. Now we're going to do something a little bit odd. we're gonna place Gwendolyn right at the start of the map. Then we're gonna eco with grouped reds. And then we're gonna place our tack shooter more like right here. And then obviously, you guys know the deal by now. You know what upgrades we're trying to get. I wonder if our opponent is gonna try to copy us. With that said, they just got that tack sprayer. They're investing a lot of money into their defense, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, they really didn't need to get that right away. Now, it is about to be round 3. So we're going to switch over to grouped blues. The earlier you can switch, the better, because you can actually time it out and get the balloons in the queue to go where you want it. And then send blues immediately, which will build your eco a little bit faster. But it's not a big deal if you do that or if you don't. Now we got that 203 tack sprayer that's going to defend pretty much everything we need it to. What we're going to do on round 5 is we are going to send space white. So I'm going to stop ecoing with the grouped blues right now. Tap a couple more every now and then. I thought this round would end sooner, but we're going to send space whites as soon as possible. We're going to set Gwendolyn's cocktail ability right there. They're really not going to like the space whites, and we're going to balloon boost them because we might be able to get the win off that. The earlier you can get the win, the better, because that means you have to play less games to rank up, and who wouldn't want to play less games to get to the next rank? So we got 3 trophies for that. Pretty dang good. 4 until promotion. Day 2, we can claim our rewards, get a ton of monkey money. Complete that day. Day 3, claim a free offer in the shop. We can easily do that. So let's collect our golden bananas for the season. And then let's claim our reward boost. We can get free monkey money. We can get our daily reward. 65 monkey money, pretty good. And we can get our daily chest. These are very important. As you can see, we got 50 monkey money from that daily chest. Normally they give 100. I wonder if it's different for beginners. But with that said, that's an easy extra 20 monkey money. And now we're at 615. I'm going to save up because I want to unlock the monkey farm next. Maybe the village Sun Palace is a decent map, but I'm going to skip it to try to get something better. Docks is a great map, but it's really long. In the Wall, this isn't the greatest because it's like a 50-50 split. I kind of hate that. But that could give us the advantage if our opponent doesn't know how to handle the map. It's going to take you some experience before you can really know what to do on a specific map. You're not going to know every map like the back of your hand or anything like that, but you can at least try it out, and then you can know, like, oh, this is a good spot for Gwendolyn, this is a bad spot for Gwendolyn. I don't want to place her there again, or I want to place her there again because this was a good spot. So it just takes some trial and error. And, you know, for everybody it's going to be different. I picked this game up pretty fast, but that's because I played Battles 1 a lot. So we're going to get the 002. That should defend for us. Now let's get the 102 now that we can afford it. Now, again, we have an opponent that has not great defense for spaced eco. And we're even leaking some balloons, so I want to get to even faster shooting. But now that we have that, I'm thinking round 5, we can get a spaced white victory again. And Space Whites is one of the most common rushes. Even some people in the Hall of Masters don't know how to defend it. How that's even possible, I don't know, because they're pretty simple to defend against. But like I said, everybody's different, so maybe they got there in a quick amount of time and they didn't know exactly what to do. And we're actually going to send Space Pinks right now. They got that Glaive Ricochet, that should help them. But the Boomerang Monkey is pretty inconsistent on this map. So if we Balloon Boost, we might actually be able to get these by them. And then if we're smart and we time it right, we could be able to send Space White right on round 5, which they're not going to be liking because Space Whites are obviously better than Space Pinks, since when you pop a white balloon, it goes into pinks. Now we are going to use our cocktail just to make us defend a little bit better. And we're going to get another 203 tag shooter that'll make sure we defend. But now they have the setup where we can't really do anything against them at the current moment. They've got Gwendolyn down, but since they just put Gwendolyn down, she's not going to help that much. The way I'm thinking we'll win this one is a round 11 purple rush. Should be fine to do that and get the win. And then that should make it so we only have to play 1 or 2 more games to rank up to Yellow Stadium. Now, I know this is a bit of a longer video, but I want to make sure you guys see how you can win at the same time. Now, let's see, this sells for 1,000, so we're going to sell this now and get the Overdrive. Overdrive should defend everything that they're going to send us. We're going to eco with grouped blues up until round 11 when we rush them with purple balloons. And you can see a simple 204 Overdrive is defending everything they're sending us and everything in the AI. You don't need to worry about your lives unless you leak a ton of them. Then you need to upgrade your defense, or else you're going to lose the game, and nobody likes to lose. But again, we're just building up our economy, building up our eco, all that good stuff. The thing I don't like, you can see what I mean by the 50-50 split. AI comes out on this path, player sent balloons on this path. So you kind of have to bunch up your defense here or back here, or you have to split it, which is just more expensive in general. So what we're going to do on round 11 is send the massive purple rush, and we're going to tower boost and use our level 3 ability. And I'm hoping that'll make sure we defend everything, and we did. Now we have the problem of the lead balloons, but what we're going to do up here is try to prepare. Well, I mean, we already popped the 1 lead, but our opponent seems to know what rushes to send. We're going to send group greens now that we can't send grouped blues anymore. Get this emergent support up there. Now the more glaives is pretty much unrushable, except for ceramic balloons. I'm not sure how they'll do though, just because they're not regen. Regen ceramics really do a number on the more glaives, but I think we might actually be able to get those to sneak by. I want to get the hot shots back here just so we can avoid leaking. I hope that doesn't kill us. Okay, we're doing okay. I panicked a little bit there. If you guys couldn't tell, because that's the thing I hate about this map, is the balloons get layered and then you just can't tell what's going on. We're gonna balloon boost those, hopefully get them by. They defended them. We're being very aggressive. Rainbows probably won't do much. I want to use... Oh no, we're gonna die. Okay, so this didn't go to plan. My plan was to get to Yellow Stadium, but this is already a long video. So I don't want you guys to have to sit through this any longer. So with that said, I will see you in the next video.